Good morning, Dr. Charles. How are you? Thank you.
I'm doing fine. Welcome to Boxford, Massachusetts, north of Boston.
Welcome from São Paulo, Brazil. Thank you for accepting our invitation. We are here to celebrate Dyslexic Week. Go Red for Dyslexia. Woohoo! We have been friends for 25 years old. Do you know that? Every year we met in the IDA conference. Yes. And then
I have good memories.
Yes, very good memories. Our friends from US. Oh, I miss all my friends from US. I will introduce myself, then I will introduce yourself. Bom dia a todos. Eu vou me apresentar, depois o Dr. Charles vai se apresentar. Eu vou perguntar para ele em inglês, mas vou falar para vocês em português. Aí ele vai responder em inglês, mas depois nós vamos colocar as legendas. Então, eu sou Ângela Nico, fonoaudióloga, psicopedagoga clínica e pesquisadora na Universidade de São Paulo. Estou há 33 anos na Associação Brasileira de Dislexia, trabalhando em avaliações e intervenções de crianças, desde crianças de riscos, adolescentes e adultos. Then, please introduce yourself.
I'm Charles Haynes. I'm a professor at the MGH Institute of Health Professions in Boston.
Yes.
Yeah, I can say more.
Yes.
I do research on dyslexia, but I also do a lot of direct clinical teaching work with children and with teachers, very much like Maria Angela.
Yes, good. And then here are the questions. First questions. What is the acceptance of the diagnosis of dyslexia in US? Qual é a aceitação do diagnóstico da dislexia nos Estados Unidos?
We have made great progress over the last 5 to 10 years in the United States with acceptance of the diagnosis of dyslexia. Maria Angela, would you like me to stop and let you translate pieces, or would you like me just to talk?
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, go ahead.
So we've made excellent progress, and the reason is that parent groups in particular have been strong advocates for legal changes across the United States. So now we have maybe 20 or 30 states where either they have accepted legislation or there is ongoing legislative efforts to get dyslexia, the term dyslexia, to be accepted in the educational environment.
Thank you. Second, what is the main difficulties with the schools and the inclusion in the labor market, mainly for adults?
With children, I know you're asking about adults, but for children who are maybe adolescents, older adolescents, where they're working to help get money to support themselves. It's the same problem that we encounter with adults, that many job sites still do not understand what dyslexia is or what appropriate accommodations, either adaptations or accommodations for dyslexia. So on the other hand, we have had some major laws passed in the United States. The Americans with Disabilities Act has been a major positive factor. And so now there is legal support for providing adaptation and accommodation for people with dyslexia in the workplace. I find that it really depends on the sort of knowledge level of the work site in the United States. Large corporations have made big strides in their human resources and in accommodating people with a range of disabilities. However, smaller companies, perhaps not always run by people who are very well educated, they often have prejudices against people who have dyslexia, where they think, oh, this person can't read, therefore they are not smart, and they make bad, unhelpful decisions about employing people, and they fire them because they don't understand how they can adapt or accommodate them better in the workplace. So we've made really good progress in the United States because we have laws that support people with dyslexia,
Yes.
but we still have a way to go. We're not there yet.
Yes. Thank you. How long have you been in the International Dyslexia Association, IDA? And what is your work there? Há quanto tempo você está na Associação Internacional de Dislexia e qual é o seu trabalho que você realiza lá?
Yeah, I think Maria Angela, you had said maybe 25 years, but I think you're correct, because it's actually around 1993 or 1992 maybe, when I was invited by Gordon Sherman.
Yes.
He knew that I was doing research in different countries in the world. And Gordon Sherman was then president of the International Dyslexia Association. And he invited me to come on the board to create what we then called a national affiliates program. And so I came on to the board, and we created a national affiliates program. But we quickly learned, you have to try things out and you see what works and what does not work. And it was built sort of like the UN, but it was going to have IDA be sort of at the top. And what I told the board was, we need to create a system with more kind of co-equal status.
Yes.
Why don't we think of this as a system of partners, global partners, and that will be more respectful of other groups. It will respect their autonomy. And that was a very important, helpful change. So like all organizations, IDA has learned over time. So I've continued as on the Global Partners Committee of IDA. I spent 5 to 10 years as a vice president on the board.
Yes.
And now I'm a senior advisor to the Global Partners Committee. And Maria Angela is, of course, a representative, and we have Gad Elbahedi and Lee Siang,
yes,
and a number of very good people working together, colleagues from India, from Africa,
Yes.
UK, now Asia. So we're slowly building a very powerful network.
Yes. Brazil is a global partner. Yes.
And we're, in fact, you were really one of the people who helped us begin this whole network of global partners at the very beginning. And that was where we met each other. So
yes,
it's been a really good journey together.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Charles. Tell me now about your researches. A little.
So I've been working with a number of colleagues, a couple of colleagues actually in Brazil.
Yes.
Cynthia Salgado
Yes.
in Natal, who is a colleague of Maria Angela's.
Yes.
Also Fabiana Almeida, who is at Curitiba. These are both people who came to do Fulbrights, or I think in Brazil you call them sandwich year.
Yes.
I think Fabiana came and did a whole sandwich year with me at the Institute. So Fabiana has been working mostly with adults learning English.
Yes.
And we've been looking at the effects of structured literacy support for them. And the work with Cynthia Salgado has focused more on early predictors and early intervention within a state of Brazil that has some of the highest poverty rates, the Northeast. And so we've learned a lot from that. And so that's examples of some of the research I've been doing in Brazil. I've also worked with colleagues in Japan to look at early predictors of literacy skills with Maya Shiho Kobayashi, and then also with colleagues in the Middle East, where we've been developing tests for predicting literacy skills in Arabic. So I have really diverse interests, but they all relate to how oral and written language interact and how we as speech language pathologists are in a good position. If we are educated and try to educate ourselves, we're in a good position to make important changes in how we diagnose dyslexia and also how we support persons with dyslexia.
Good. Good work. And in US.
Well, you're doing some very good work in Brazil, and Fernando Capovilla, who I know is a strong supporter of ABD.
My professor.
And yeah, he's your colleague and professor. He is, of course, a very thoughtful, intelligent person who is pushing forward the understanding of reading and reading intervention in Brazil. So you're fortunate to have him as a colleague, and he's fortunate to have you as well. It's a good relationship that you have.
Yes, for sure. Please, could you leave a message for parents and teachers?
I think my message, pardon me, I think that my message for parents is believe in your child. Believe in their gifts, believe in that they really want to learn, even when they seem like they're frustrated and they don't want to go to school maybe, or they're feeling badly about themselves. You need to have faith in yourself as a parent and really make sure that you love and support your child. Also, try to understand, learn about dyslexia. For example, ABD, if you're in Brazil, Brazil Dyslexia Association has some great resources for parents, information for parents, so that you can educate yourself about the true nature of dyslexia. And you can throw away the mythologies, the bad mythologies about learning disabilities and so on, that in fact, and understand how to support your child best. I guess the message for teachers is really the same.
Yes.
One thing that I've become more and more aware of during the last 5 to 10 years is the importance of understanding the strengths of the children or adults that we work with, and don't just view the children as collections of deficits or problems. That in fact, if we understand what motivates them, what gives them joy, it helps us provide them with the educational support that they need. If you're a teacher, you want to make sure that you learn about structured literacy practices for both oral and written language, and spend time educating yourself. Join the community of ABD, because they can give you excellent support. And they can also point you to other communities in Brazil that will give you support as well. It really takes a lot of work working together with people. So find people who can support and educate you in your teaching. That's the most important piece.
Yes, thank you. One more question about child at risk.
Could you please expand on that, Maria? When you say, do you mean how do we identify children at risk?
Yes.
Or
yes, you usually do that?
Yeah. So are you particularly interested in sort of diagnosing kids? Okay. Because there are a lot of ways that we could go with that. But yeah, the earlier that we identify children who are at risk for dyslexia, the better.
Yes.
The human brain is plastic, in the sense that it can we can adapt better when we are young than when we are older. It doesn't mean we should not try to help people who are older who have dyslexia. That is not what I mean. But if we can identify children early, before they experience failure in school, it's easier to help and support them. So the understanding family history is important. If you're a diagnostician or a teacher, if the family has a history of dyslexia and reading problems, that's an important part of the puzzle. And also, if there are knowing how much support the family needs around literacy is also super important. As you know, many families may not have access to resources. So if we can help them access language and literacy resources, that will help them a lot.
Yes. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Go Red for dyslexia.
Go Red for dyslexia.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Maria Angela. I really appreciate ABD so much. The hard work that you've put in for, three decades.
Yes.
At least.
Almost 4 decades.
Almost four. Yeah. So I hope to see you in Brazil.
Or-
I'm going to try to get down to Brazil sometime this spring. I will take my COVID tests and be healthy, so to support everyone there. But I'm hoping to get a good chance to visit with my friends at the ABD office in Sao Paulo and see my grandchildren in Sao Paulo as well.
For sure, for sure. We are waiting for you, ABD colleagues. We send you many, many kisses.
Thank you, Maria. You take care, Angela.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
See you later.
Okay, take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Yeah.